listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum, recorded from a secret location in the city that moves mountains.
Thank you very much, Carlin, for that introduction, and welcome to the special edition of Here to Chew Bubblegum. My name is Goose, and we are back. We are back, and we are ready to go. I want to apologize to our listeners for the delay in shows. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but a couple of weeks ago, I was diagnosed with COVID-19. I was in quarantine on isolation. I am recovering and feeling a lot better. I want to thank all the listeners and friends that called, texted, messaged, and let me know that they were praying for me and that they were supporting me in my recovery. Folks, it's been a while since we've did a show. I want to give a huge thank you to all of our listeners in the United States, our international listeners, New Zealand, Ireland, United Kingdom, Philippines, Singapore, Nigeria, Germany is new. So welcome, guys, from Germany. We look forward to having you as part of the audience at Here to Chew Bubblegum. Again, our podcast is available on anchor.fm/Here to Chew Bubblegum. You can also check us out on our website, heretochewbubblegum.com, on our social media pages, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. You can also catch us on Google Podcast, Spotify, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Cast, and Radio Public. And we do have some other platforms that we will be adding very soon, and we will pass those along to you as soon as we get those. Again, we are back, ready to go. We're sorry for the delay in programming, and happy to have you here with us. I want to thank Cronkite for doing the special update, and we have a huge show coming up right now, and on Sunday, hopefully we'll be back on schedule. Some listener email while we were away. Heather from Colorado wrote, "Here to Chew Bubblegum. I have a question in regards to last week's show. The email that you read from the guy or gal that the Army sent, do you think they'd ever come on the show? If not, why? And could you tell us anything else about what he saw in particular? I mean, he or she said anything we can imagine, the United States government already has it. So would he or she elaborate or give an example of what they saw?" Heather, thank you very much for writing in. That is a great question, and we hope to have that guest on the show, or at least another email from that guest, in the very near future. Folks, I've talked to them privately off the air, and some of the things that they saw are mind-blowing. Jake from Ohio said, "Hey, Goose, great show last week. I'd never heard about the train/UFO incident before. I have family that live in Paintsville, and while they knew basically what you talked about, they didn't know anything else. Anyway, how is your investigation into that case going? Do you have any new updates?" Thank you very much, Jake from Ohio. As of now, it is still ongoing. I have put in open records request to a couple of different agencies. I have not heard anything back, but I will keep you updated as soon as I do. Obi from Nigeria said, "I like your show. The guy named Cronkite seems like he would do really well with his love for UFOs and the unexplained. I look forward to more shows with you and Cronkite." Thank you very much, Obi from Nigeria. We are so glad that you listened to Here to Chew Bubblegum and that you took time out of your day to write in and let us know what you think. The format for this show, before we go any farther, is going to be just a little bit different than normal. We have a lot of material from Cronkite that we're going to be getting to in this show. Coming up on Sunday, we'll be doing a regular show. Next Wednesday, we'll be doing the midweek moment, and hopefully back on schedule. Before we took our leave of absence, our question of the week was, what is an unexplainable event that's happened to you? We had a tremendous response from that. And I'm not going to read all of them because it was an overwhelming response. but I am going to read some of those. Lennell responded, this one time we were doing a podcast about Robert the doll. Robert is a haunted doll that messes with electronics, and it killed my partner's mic and messed up the audio and my Google documents. That is definitely unexplainable. Raymond Strickland, I died and woke up on a planet that was eerily similar to the one I had died on. So we're so glad that you're not dead, Raymond, and that you wrote that in. Sharon Cantillon wrote, something I lost over 2 years ago just showed up 2 days ago on my dresser. Well, thank you guys very much for our question of the week. We will have a new question of the week coming up on Sunday's show. We will read some more responses and listener emails throughout this show. Again, the format is going to be just a little bit different than normal. You can contact us at the show. You can call us, text us, leave us a voicemail that will play on the air. We may even call you back when we're taping the show. That's easy to do. Just call 606-373-3396. That's area code 606-373-3396. You can always email me, Goose, at heretochewbubblegum.com. Again, that's Goose at heretochewbubblegum.com. You can also get in touch with Cronkite. If you have a news story, if you want to say hello to him, welcome aboard. If there's something going on that you think he should know and report on, it's easy to do. Just email Cronkite at heretochewbubblegum.com. Well, folks, coming up on Sunday, our regular show, we're going to be talking about the John Swift Lost Silver Mine. We're going to be talking about the Solar Warden Project. And we're going to have open topics where we will be discussing listener-requested subjects. We will also have a special guest on Sunday's show. I'm talking about my good friend that I've known for many years, the Creepy Kentuckian from deadpit.com, will be our guest on Sunday's show. And possibly, if the details are worked out, we will have a huge announcement about Here to Chew Bubblegum, maybe getting a 4-show deal on local radio will be broadcast from near the city that moves mountains. So be sure to tune in Sunday for all of that. Getting back to one listener email really quick. Derek emails, I don't want to give my location, but my response to your question of the week is, I once had a dream many years ago of me being middle-aged. I was working on a house that I'd never seen. I had this dream when I was in high school. Fast forward to last year. I bought a house and started doing some remodeling on it. I had a deja vu type moment while eating lunch one day and remembered my dream from many years before. The house that I dreamed about is the one that I just bought. I just thought I would like to share my story with you guys at Here to Chew Bubblegum. Thank you very much, Derek. We definitely appreciate that. Going back really quick to some listener responses to our question of the week. What was an unexplainable event that's happened to you? Rebecca Potter wrote, I had a ruptured appendix for several days. I was in the hospital in septic shock. The doctor didn't think I would last through the night during surgery. And I did. I shared this story live with Dave Schroeder on Midnight in the Desert a year ago when he had an expert on this topic. Well, thank you very much, Rebecca, for writing in, and we're so glad that you are okay. We are going to take a short break and have some news headlines from Cronkite. The news headlines will be what's coming up on Sunday's show. When we come back, we are going to talk about Gary McKinnon and his hacking of government and NASA computers in the early 2000s. We'll be back in just a few. Thank you for being here. You're listening to HereToChewBubblegum.com.
Howdy, folks. This is the Creepy Kentuckian from deadpit.com, and you're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum.
Are you a horror movie fan? Yeah, I dig horror movies. Are you searching for a great internet horror talk radio show to listen to? Why, sure, that sounds quite spiffy. Then you need to tune into deadpit.com. It's the original horror talk radio show. Dead Pit is a show by the fans and for the fans. Uncensored and unbiased opinions are the goal of the show, giving fans honest reviews on new films and vintage classics of the horror genre. Make deadpit.com your number one horror station destination.
It's now time for the news headlines with Cronkite.
Well, hello there, listeners. This is Cronkite, and I'm here to chew some bubblegum. On this week's show, a UFO sighting over California claims that an alien fleet was spotted over California, and something big is going on. A longtime pilot in North Carolina photographs a mysterious orange orb in the daytime over the North Carolina mountains. And the Pentagon says it has found off-world vehicles that are not made of this earth. Fox News is reporting UFC's fighter Diego Sanchez says he received a UFO visit. It was obviously watching me. Looking forward to hearing from you guys this week. Join me on Sunday for these articles and maybe some more commentary. Let me know what you thought about Joe Citizen. He was really excited to do the show. Maybe we'll have him back, get some commentary, his thoughts on some of the articles. Until then, have a good week, and we will see you on Sunday.
Do you have a Roku device? Do you want to escape the everyday? Then download the Edge TV. That is the Edge TV on your Roku device, spelled capital T, capital H, number sign 3. Let James, Stacy, Greg, and the rest of the gang keep you entertained. The Edge TV, available now on Roku.
You're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum. If Abraham Lincoln were alive, he'd listen, but he's dead.
Thank you very much, Cronkite, and we look forward to hearing all those news headlines on Sunday. Coming up again, folks, this format for this show will be a little bit different than we normally do. We're going to talk about a story right now that was mentioned in the last midweek moment. Then we're going to go to a very special news segment with Cronkite. And then we'll come back here and wrap it up and tell you guys what is going to be happening on Sunday's show. Gary McKinnon. He was born in 1966. He is a Scottish systems administrator and hacker who was accused in 2002 of penetrating the biggest military computer hack of all time. Although McKinnon himself states that he was merely looking for evidence of free energy suppression and UFO cover-up activity. Well, he had those questions and other technology, potentially useful information to the public. McKinnon was accused of hacking into 97 United States military and NASA computers over a 13-month period between February 2001 and March 2002. He did this and used the name Solo. U.S. authorities stated that he deleted critical files from operating systems which shut down the United States Army's Military District of Washington network of 2000 computers for 24 hours. McKinnon also posted as Solo a notice on the military's website saying that their security was crap. Basically, McKinnon was a huge UFO guy. He was into UFOs. He was into Roswell. He liked reading about UFOs. Highly intelligent. Though he did, I think, suffered from, Asperger's disease. He was highly intelligent, gifted on computers. His findings that he said publicly that he's found when he hacked these computers is that he came across a project that was called the Disclosure Project. And from what he read, this was a book with over 400 testimonials from people, from air traffic controllers, people that were responsible for launching nuclear missiles, very credible witnesses, where they talked about reverse engineering technology taken from a captured or destroyed alien craft. Now, if you think about that for a second, that is very similar to what Bob Lazar said that he did in the 1980s in Nevada near Groom Lake, also known as Area 51. McKinnon also claimed that when he got into the NASA computer that he found photographic evidence that NASA had photoshopped images released to the public. Okay, now they didn't add anything. They took away images and airbrushed out images of unidentified flying objects. Now, these were high-resolution satellite photos. And McKinnon claims that when he hacked into the NASA computers at Building 8 of the Johnson Space Center, that is where they regularly airbrushed out images of UFOs. He said they had huge resolutions of the before and after pictures that they would release to the media. They had filtered, unfiltered, processed, unprocessed files. He said also that he got access to Excel spreadsheets. Now, this is something that we've mentioned before. We've mentioned alien UFOs and man-made UFOs. Basically, he claims that in these spreadsheets, he found a spreadsheet of non-terrestrial officers. Now, think about that for a second. Non-terrestrial officers. It contained names and ranks of the United States Air Force personnel who were not registered anywhere else. It contained information about ship-to-ship transfers. He never saw the names of these ships anywhere else when he tried to search them publicly. Now, that goes back to saying that, the Disclosure Project book that he found, where you had very credible sources, air traffic controllers, guy that were in charge of nuclear missiles, credible witnesses, and they were saying that the United States government has reversed engineered technology taken from or destroyed alien craft. Folks, there's stories all over the internet about our government doing this. Not only our government, but governments in other countries doing this as well. Now, that is why sometimes I think when you see a UFO that some of it may be extraterrestrial. People, pilot, co-pilot, crew flying it. Some of it may be human. Do I think it's possible? Based on the information to the guy that I had read a few weeks ago, anything you can imagine the United States government is already doing. So, yes, I think that it is very possible. McKinnon went on to say that when he tried to search names for ships, that there were approximately 8 to 10 in total. Now, we're not talking about like your standard jets or fighters or stealth bombers. We're talking about alien technology that we have reversed engineered. He's unable to come across anything mentioned about them in public. And to them, that reinforced his assertment that these were part of a covert and non-terrestrial U.S. Initiative. So, is our government... do they have a non-terrestrial UFO project? Could you see a UFO and could it be driven by man? It is very, very possible. We at Here to Chew Bubblegum think that some of the things that he found are very interesting, and it goes along with stuff that Bob Lazar said years before. Now, a quick update. The United States government tried to extradite Gary McKinnon. They were unable to, so the last that I read, he is a free man and still doing his own sorry about that. He's still doing his own thing. And but I just found that story really interesting. I know I didn't really go into a lot of depth with that. I just wanted to make you guys aware of the Gary McKinnon incident. If you have never heard of it, be sure to check that out. We are going to step away really quick. We're going to come back with Cronkite in his special news report. You want to stick around for this because Cronkite has a special guest with him as he's doing his news stories. Again, you are listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum. You can contact us, shoot us a text, leave us a voicemail, call us. We'll even play it on the air. Keep it clean and don't talk politics. The area code is 606-373-3396. That's area code 606-373-3396. You can always email myself, Goose, at heretochewbubblegum.com or Cronkite at heretochewbubblegum.com. Don't forget, coming up on Sunday's show, one of the founders and a personal friend of mine. The Creepy Kentuckian from deadpit.com will be our special guest on this Sunday show. Be sure to tune in for that. We're going to step away and come back with Cronkite and his special news report with Joe Citizen.
Breaking news with Cronkite.
Good afternoon. Here to Chew Bubblegum Nation. This is Cronkite coming to you from the city who moves mountains. We're going to go back into the news here from a couple weeks ago. It's been a bit since we've been on. No fault of our own. We've been off. But we're back. We're rested. We're relaxed. We're ready to go. We've had a crazy couple of weeks with the election. Now everything's turning off cold. But life goes on, and we're going to move on. Today I've got Joe Citizen with me. Joe, introduce yourself.
Hey, here to you, Bubblegum Nation. I'm kind of a conspiracy theorist, I've been told, so hopefully we'll make this fun.
Well, just keep some of that to yourself tonight, sir.
No, I will not.
You can't silence you.
I will not. I will not be silent.
All right, well, I've got a couple stories here tonight, Joe. I was going to see if maybe I can get your insight on some of it.
All right.
This first article comes from Gulf Today, and it's spelled GUELPH Today.com. And it's a video, and the title is it a bird? Is it a plane? Is it a UFO? And it starts out with, what's that? The first few seconds of the video uploaded to YouTube last week, titled UFO Sighted in Canada, shows a trail of lights briefly appearing in the night sky, reportedly in, I know I'm going to destroy this, and I apologize to everyone in Canada, but I believe it's Pulslinch, before disappearing again. The footage was taken around the Victoria Park East Golf Club, according to the user Chelsea V. In the first few seconds of the video, the aerial phenomenon looks like it's a beam of white light that appears suspended in the night sky, then it quickly vanishes. One user who goes by the name Tubin187 says, if I were to speculate, to me it looks like it seems plausible that it may have been SpaceX Starlink satellite. The Starlink satellites, apparently, once they're immediately deployed, they come in like a pod of 60. Is that correct, Joe?
Yes.
All right. And so when they are deployed, they're kind of in a string. They're kind of in a line, and then they expand out.
String of pearls.
Like a string of pearls.
Until they increase their altitude.
All right. So in an email statement from Professor Richard Kelly, former NASA researcher and current chair of Geography and Environmental Management at the University of Waterloo, he says that most recently SpaceX launched a group of 60 Starlink satellite in October, October 24th, from Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in Florida. So yeah, that would be plausible, right?
Yes.
So what happens when these Starlink satellites get up there? What is Starlink?
Starlink is a space-based internet provider. In the test phases right now, Elon Musk is, which to me is on the cutting edge of a lot of technology that will better mankind. But it's supposed to provide, there'll be thousands of satellites that will provide high-speed internet to places in the world that cannot get internet at present.
So everyone's going to have high-speed internet around the globe.
Everybody will have access to high-speed internet around the globe.
That's excellent. Yeah, okay, so Richard Kelly goes on to say that Starlinks are low-orbited broadband communication satellites that provide high-speed internet. Each launcher stacked to 60 would expect that immediately after deployment they would grouped close together like a, he calls it a long train, but looking at the video now, Joe, it looks like it does look, like you said, it's a long string of pearls. That's very plausible. Yeah, Elon Musk, he's taking us to the next level, isn't he?
Oh yes.
Do you think we're going to be living on Mars in our lifetime?
I won't be.
You won't
I'm
be.
too old.
Oh, come on now.
But in your lifetime, yes. I believe somebody will be living on Mars permanent.
That's intriguing. Hopefully we'll revisit that subject later on about maybe terraforming Mars. I know you have some good ideas on that, and I know you follow that subject pretty closely.
Yeah, that's one of my interests.
Alrighty. Well, I guess we'll move on to the next one then. All right, Joe. So moving on from our discussion about the Starlink satellites from the video in Ontario, the next one comes from the news-messenger.com. It's Fremont News Messenger. It's titled "Paranormal America." Author discusses Bigfoot, UFOs, and ghosts in virtual talk. I know Bigfoot is one of your favorites. As long as I can remember, you've always been intrigued by the idea of Bigfoot.
Oh, yes.
So you've been Bigfoot hunting, haven't you?
No.
You've never been Bigfoot hunting?
Never been Bigfoot hunting. Dream that's Bigfoot hunting. Never been.
All right, so a California professor specializing in paranormal beliefs and discoveries on who believes in what and when it comes to supernatural discussed his findings through a virtual event this week at Rutherford B. Hayes Presidential Library and Museums. Bader is a sociology professor at Chapman University in Orange, California, studying paranormal beliefs, religion, and has interest in criminology. His book, Paranormal America, Ghost Encounters, UFO Sightings, Bigfoot Hunts, and Other Curiosities in Religion and Culture, details findings on how beliefs shape people. Bader spoke virtually Wednesday as a part of a Rutherford B. Hayes Presidential Library and Museum special exhibit, Ohio, An Unnatural History, which is on display through Halloween 2021. He goes on to be quoted to say, "If you are coming to this talk hoping that I would tell you the paranormal is real or tell you all the reasons you shouldn't believe it, then you're going to be disappointed on either end. As a sociologist, it doesn't really interest me." For Bader, he has also spent a long time studying fear and what people are afraid of and how it affects their behaviors. His unexplained interest growing up in Washington State, Bader said he was always interested in the search of shows, but said when he grew up, he realized no one was really looking at topics from an academic perspective. He said he remembers thinking Bigfoot was in the woods outside his home and fondly recalls watching the $6 Million Man fighting the creature on TV. You remember that?
I do remember that.
As a sociologist, Bader said he is interested in how paranormal beliefs change over time and how they shape people and culture. What we believe about UFOs today is not the same we believed the UFOs in the 1970s, Bader said. And those changes also apply to Bigfoot, such as appearance, size, and where the creature may live. I said that's interesting. You don't think about that. So, you don't think about how one generation may view the same thing. Like my generation may view UFOs completely different. How we observe them. I grew up with technology, whereas you didn't grow up with technology. So what may be a UFO to you was probably not a UFO to me, right?
Well, that's correct.
That's an interesting look at it.
You can. There's a lot more information. You can find out a lot more things today than you could when I was a young man back in the '60s, or young child back in the '60s. I ain't that old. The only thing we had were the newspapers or the nightly news. Now you got 24/7 news, internet. You can look up anything you want to any time of day or night. Now, whether or not you want to believe it or not, because
right.
Everything on the internet is true.
Right. Yeah. If it's said on the internet, it's got to be true. So the science of paranormal, Bader said, many scientists do not believe in UFOs or ghosts as a whole, saying they can generally tell someone why that UFO they believe they saw is likely a shooting star or a bird, and also with religion and some of the inherent beliefs that come with the religious factions. Ghosts are the most common believed creatures in paranormal activity, with 58% of the people believing that places can be haunted by spirits, according to the data from a 2018 Chapman University study. Bigfoot garnered 21% from the study, while aliens visiting Earth in the ancient past, 41%. And those believing aliens visited Earth in the modern times makes up 35%. What do you think about that? I know we've watched Ancient Aliens before, and it kind of makes you think sometimes.
Yeah. Here we go with the conspiracy theory. pay attention to the shows that are on TV that deal with aliens and UFOs and things like that. In the last 10 years, they have just doubled or tripled in the amount of shows that are on television as compared to back in the 70s.
Right.
And my thinking is there has been a government cover-up. Things are getting so big now that they're having a hard time to hiding it. There's too much information out there. They are priming us through TV and the internet, YouTube, whatever, so that when they come out and say, yeah, we've been in contact with them for 50 years or 100 years or whatever, everybody's not going to freak out and, it'd be the end of the world.
Right. I know I've met some people recently that I would swear are probably not human.
Oh, I know a few.
Yeah. Well, now this is an interesting fact. It says there are more people, according to the study, who believe people can move objects with their minds at 26% than believe that Bigfoot is real at 21%. That's kind of hard to believe, right?
Yeah, well, the way I see it, on the Bigfoot, until somebody can prove to me that there's no such thing, I'm going to keep an open mind. I think it's pretty cool that there may be something out there that we haven't discovered. They're finding animals in the ocean that, probably been there for hundreds of thousands of years, and we're just now finding them.
Right.
Just now discovering the species. They're finding them every day.
I mean, it is interesting.
And it's just, like I said, until somebody can prove to me that Bigfoot's not real, then, I'm going to keep an open mind. And as far as moving things with your mind, we're developing as a species. Every generation can do a little something more, where it may be subtle.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, I think we'll be a telepathic species. Because we're only using, 10% of our brain.
I think that's what they say, yeah.
Yeah. So,
they do say that we know more about outer space than we do about
the ocean.
The oceans,
Mm-hmm.
and what is even under our feet. Though Bigfoot belief may appear to be low, Bader said about 7 years ago, only 14% of people believed in the creature, making it the largest percentage growth among paranormal beliefs. Understanding the belief trends. Through his research, Bader said belief in the paranormal does not follow key factors including gender, income, education, and religion. Bader said men tend to get more involved in the paranormal using equipment and going on ghost hunts, while women lean more towards how to better yourself by going to a psychic. One stereotype of those who believe in the paranormal is that they have lower levels of education. We have a breaking news. Not on this show, though. And therefore lower income levels. Bader said that is not true, having studied those who believe in paranormal and found that they often have a higher level of education and income. Well, that makes sense. You keep an open mind. You want to train your mind and you have a thirst for knowledge. I can see that.
But you're never too old to learn.
True. Religion does have a complicated effect on paranormal, Bader said. He said atheists tend not to believe in paranormal, saying it makes sense that if someone rejects religion or the idea of religion, that having faith in something beyond the physical world would not align with their views. We also found that very religious people don't believe in the paranormal either, or if they do, they tend to believe it in a different way. He said some extreme religious groups will either tell their congregation that the paranormal does not exist, or that if it does exist, it's the work of the devil. Moderate levels of religious belief are where Bader found Bader found the most belief in the paranormal, such as a person who goes to church once or twice a month, believes in the Bible, but does not believe it should be taken literally. I don't know. What's your take on all that?
I don't know.
Kind of sounds like a good read, though.
Yes, it does.
I have to go out and pick that one up. You have anything else you want to add to that one?
No, not really.
Okay.
Other than if you want to hear a ghost story, I can tell you one.
I'll tell us a ghost story.
Okay. Well, this just happened last year. went to my girlfriend's, and we had fixed dinner and was just sitting around the table talking and, listening to the TV, and she has a Lazy Susan in the center of the table, and I had set a lighter on that table, and we were just talking, and all of a sudden that lighter just shot up in the air about 4 feet and came right back down and landed where it was at, where it had left. Now, I don't think I was smart enough or strong enough to do that with my mind. Something picked that lighter up and threw it. So
That's interesting. Has there been any more paranormal activity over there, or is that the first?
no, that was the first. I don't think there was anything else that I witnessed.
But just to clarify, the area you live that she lives in, it's not a very active area. There's not much as far as trimmers, road traffic.
No, nothing that's going to make a lighter jump 4 feet in the air.
No magnets overhead.
No magnets overhead.
That's interesting. I have to do a ghost hunt over there one day.
Yeah, and might be fun.
That might be. All right, Joe. Moving on. So this one comes from USA Today. Mystery jetpack flyer spotted near Los Angeles, and it's not the first time. This is pretty cool. Someone in a jetpack apparently was spotted near Los Angeles International Airport on Wednesday, according to the Federal Aviation Administration. If this sounds familiar, that's because this isn't the first time it's happened in recent months. Something Twitter could not get enough of, and as the story unfolded on social media. A China Airlines crew reported seeing what appeared to be someone in a jetpack at an approximate altitude of 6,000 feet, about 7 miles northwest of Los Angeles International Airport, around 1:45 p.m. On Wednesday. This was a statement from the FAA. The FAA alerted local law enforcement and will look into the report. Someone could be heard saying in the background over air traffic control, flying object. Was it a UAV or was it a jetpack? That's wild.
All I've got to say is, where the hell do I get one?
That'd be kind of neat to have, wouldn't it?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Honestly though, looking back at it though, where are the flying cars now? Aren't we supposed to be like?
That's politics. We don't want to talk that subject.
Oh, okay, yeah, we don't get into that. The air traffic control tower can be heard saying, there was a jetpack reported about 7 miles west of you. There's no way you can go and check that out, can you? Speculation about the incident spread on social media. Jetpack dude back with a vengeance in Los Angeles. Newbie, copycat, UAV, UFO, Mylar balloon. Everyone loves a good mystery, especially one that flies through the air. NBC reporter Andrew Blankston wrote on Twitter. So who had a guy in a jetpack flying at 6,000 feet near LAX on their 2020 bingo card? Lizzie Cochran wrote. This would be the year for it, wouldn't it? USA Today reached out to LAX for more information. The FBI is in contact with the FAA and is investigating multiple reports of what, according to witnesses, appeared to be an individual in a jetpack near LAX, according to one yesterday reported by a China Airlines crew. And that's from a statement from the FBI provided by spokesman Laura Eimiller. Anyone with information should contact the FBI at 310-477-6565. According to the previous incident, a spokesperson for the Federal Aviation Administration confirmed to USA Today at the time that 2 airline flight crews reported seeing what appeared to be someone in a jetpack as they approached LAX. The spokesperson said law enforcement was looking into the situation. The person in the tower warned an incoming JetBlue pilot that someone in a jetpack might be nearby. The FAA was working to figure out what happened, and FBI spokesperson Laura Eimiller told USA Today at the time. It doesn't sound like he was hurting anyone, does it?
No, but, if he's going to fly around, we got to be a little smarter than fly around the airport. Have you seen what a jet engine does to a bird when one goes through it?
Well, that's true.
I could give him a colorful name, but I will refrain. Anyway, I mean, there's all kinds of places that would be pretty cool to fly around. National parks. Just out of the ocean, but airport.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of sounds like somebody has either built this thing and was trying it out, or it's maybe.
Well, have you seen the videos of the guys over in Dubai?
Mm-mm.
They have basically a wing with jet engines on them. And then they strap it to the back and they fly. But there's actually videos on YouTube of them following airliners and doing maneuvers around them and all this and that. And then when they either run out of fuel or they get done flying, they pull a parachute and land. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that is.
Like I said, where the hell do I get mine?
Yeah. I mean, that is pretty cool. Listen, Jetpack Flyer, if you're listening to the show tonight, number one, call us. We would love to talk to you. Number two, maybe be a little smarter. Maybe do it out away from an airport. All right, Joe. So this last one we're going to talk about is the phenomenon, and it takes a grounded approach to UFOs and testimonies from government officials. And I apologize. I don't want to tear this guy's name up, but I'm probably going to murder it. His name is Mark. I want to say his name is Barish. He knows that while many people are open to the idea of life on other planets, there is still a lot of doubt around extraterrestrials, unidentified flying objects, and the like. It sounds like the stuff of science fiction, says Barish, 71 of Berkeley, California. It's easy for all of us, myself included. It's a maybe. But the new documentary, The Phenomenon, which Barish wrote, aims to move the discussion of alien life onto more solid ground. The movie, which was produced by 1091 Pictures and is available for digital download, contains testimony from astronauts, UFO investigators, and also government officials, including former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence Christopher Mellon and former Senator Harry Reid. It's interesting. The film, directed by James Fox, comes on the heels of the Pentagon's announcements of the establishment of an unidentified aerial phenomena task force, which is charged with studying any aerial phenomena that could pose a threat to U.S. security. In the phenomenon, multiple sources state that UFOs have been under investigation by the military since the 1940s. The movie aims to be a serious examination of UFOs and UFO sightings. The son of the late Norman Barish, a playwright, comedian, and writer, and a longtime Greenwich resident, which is, that's Mark's dad. I'm so sorry. Mark is making this video or this movie, and he's the son of Norman Barish. He's a playwright, comedian, a writer, and a longtime Greenwich resident. Indeed, The Phenomenon seems more of a journalistic documentary than a disposable conspiracy theory film, right down to the use of actor Peter Coyote, a mainstay of Ken Burns' long-form documentary series as the movie's narrator. The goal was to make it unassailable as possible with something that is still unknown. To take something out of the realm of myth and into the realm of certainty, says Barish, a journalist who has served as an editor at the New Age Journal of Psychology Today. He is also the CEO of Green World Ventures, which has worked in Nigeria, Ghana, and now focuses in Kenya to develop regenerative food industry. Barish has a long history both with documentary filmmaking and the field of UFOs. His work includes producing One Child, One Voice, a 1992 special designed to promote awareness of the Earth Summit in Brazil, and a 1995 episode of the documentary series Secret History on the alleged crash of the alien spacecraft in Roswell, New Mexico. For The Phenomenon, Barish says, he's assisted Fox in taking years of footage about UFOs and UFO sightings to shape the narrative, not just about UFOs, but of the people who saw them, investigated them, and knew about them. The film shows case after case of people people credibly describing seeing aircraft more technologically sophisticated than anything produced on Earth. These were far advanced from anything in our military capability, Barris says, according to the crafts that were described as moving at a rate of speed that would obliterate a human pilot. How fast would that have to be?
Pretty fast.
Yeah. We are and have been visited by craft that are not of earthly manufacture, he says. The original plan was for the documentary to be released on show and shown in AMC theaters, but like many film releases, it got scrapped due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The film is now available via digital download, and Barris says it's been doing well, thanks in no small part to the news about the information of the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force. President Donald Trump was even asked about the task force in recent interviews and vowed to look into the matter. Barris says he's proud of the phenomenon, not just as a film, but as a step forward in proving that there is life beyond the Earth. I think this film is a breakthrough, he says. For more information about the film, visit thephenomenonfilm.com. I have to look at that one.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good one.
Be fun to watch.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that? Do you think there was a UFO crash in New Mexico?
Yes.
Do you think that we have been investigating UFOs since the 1940s, or do you think it goes further back in history than that?
I think it goes back further in history than that. But I'm thinking in the 40s they actually found a craft, and there's just been kind of leaps in technology. Ever so often, I think they back engineered a lot of it. I'm sure the military has things that we can only dream of.
Mm-hmm.
And for me personally, I'm still trying to explain the existence of Velcro. I'm sorry, that's where it came from.
Yeah. Well, it is interesting that several people have claimed to have created it, but no one has been able to verify it, right?
Well, that we know of.
Right.
You look at, in the Milky Way alone, there are billions of stars.
Mm-hmm.
And if each one of them has, 2 or 3 or 9 or 12 planets, and all the moons maybe that were orbiting those planets, you start getting some huge numbers. Well, in that huge numbers, there has got to be, a planet that can sustain life. Now, it may not be life like we know it, but, be life. And, I'm sorry, space is too big. There's too much out there. Yeah, for us, getting from one star to another right now is impossible. But
we're still young as a civilization.
Right, but, a civilization may have developed sooner after the Big Bang than we did. They may have the technology that, like Star Trek, got warp speed, and they'll be here in a couple days.
Right.
And, we're putting around there for 500 years trying to get to the nearest star.
Well, you bring up an interesting thought there. You mentioned Star Trek. With the Big Bang, if we can figure out where the center of that Big Bang was, do you think if there is life out there, which I believe there is, would that life be more advanced the closer you get to where the Big Bang occurred? Or do you think it would be intermittent, just depending on what kind of minerals and what kind of resources were available?
Me personally think it would be, the older civilizations would probably be closer to it, but not, like the end of the vicinity of the Big Bang. I mean, you're talking, it's spreading out for millions of years, and then these civilizations develop. I think the scientists have got it down to, it's like 14 billion years old. The universe is what is the number, and our Earth is only 4 billion years old. So that was a lot of time for somebody to get developed. planet to develop and a species, and we're just not getting started.
So you think that the closer that you get to the center of origin, probably the more advanced
Probably
civilization
it could be.
Or do you think it would be?
They may have been, and because of the distances that we're talking about, I think that there are civilizations that were born, lived for, million years or whatever, and, their son died or something, and they have died out, and if they were as advanced as we are right now, we're taking first steps trying to get off the planet, to keep the human race moving in case we have a natural disaster, a comet, or gamma ray burst that fries everything on the planet. At least not everybody's going to be gone. There'll be people. There'll still be humans out on other planets or another solar system eventually.
Yeah, eventually. The tricky part about the gamma ray burst, though, if it happened right now, no one will know it, and it'd be over.
Yep.
Just like that. Well, Joe, I appreciate you helping me out with the news this week. You have some really interesting ideas and really good insight. What do you think about the show? You've been listening?
I have. I enjoyed the episodes I got to listen to. I haven't listened to everything that's on there, but I listened to a few of them, and I really enjoyed it.
Well, good.
And
who's your favorite character? Go ahead and say it.
Joe Citizen.
All right, here at Chew Bubblegum Nation, that's a wrap for us tonight. Join us on Sunday for our next show. Goose, I'll turn it back over to you.
I turned away when you needed me. I thought the fire would burn forever, you see. I made mistakes, but you've always pulled me through. You stood by me, that's why I'm standing by you. If I had shown you.
Do you have a Roku device? Do you want to escape the everyday? Then download the Edge TV. That is the Edge TV on your Roku device, spelled capital T, capital H, number sign 3. Let James, Stacy, Greg, and the rest of the gang keep you entertained. The Edge TV, available now on Roku.
Are you a horror movie fan? Yeah, I dig horror movies. Are you searching for a great internet horror talk radio show to listen to? Why, sure, that sounds quite spiffy. Then you need to tune into deadpit.com. It's the original horror talk radio show. Dead Pit is a show by the fans and for the fans. Uncensored and unbiased opinions are the goal of the show, giving fans honest reviews on new films and vintage classics of the horror genre. Make deadpit.com your #1 horror station destination.
You're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum with Goose.
Thank you very much, Cronkite and Mr. Joe A. Citizen, for those news reports. Well, again, we are back with our special edition show. Coming up on Sunday's show, we will have a new question of the week. Our special guest on this Sunday show will be the Creepy Kentuckian from deadpit.com. We'll be talking about the John Swift Lost Silver Mine solar project, Solar Warden, and we will be discussing listener topics. Topics that we will be discussing will be sent in and suggested by listeners. We'll also possibly have a special announcement about Here to Chew Bubblegum on local radio. Keep your fingers crossed. We hope everything works out on that. We will be here on Sunday. Thank you guys very much again for listening to the show and reaching out to me when I wasn't able to do the show. It really means a lot to me. Special thanks to my friend Carlin for all the voiceover work and for letting us use the music of Flannery. Special thanks to the Creepy Kentuckian from deadpit.com. Again, his interview will be this Sunday. Special thanks to all the guys over at the Edge Studios. James, Stacy, Greg, and the rest of the guys. Coming up in the next couple of weeks, we will have James Smith on as a special guest. Again, this has been a special edition here to Chew Bubblegum. We are back, and thank you guys very much for listening. Again, if you want to be a guest on the show, you have show ideas, you want to contact me or Cronkite, it's easy to do. You can email me, Goose, at heretochewbubblegum.com or Cronkite at heretochewbubblegum.com. You can always call, text, or leave us a voicemail that we will play on the air. We may even call you back when we are taping the show. That's easy to do. The number is 606-373-3396. That's 606-373-3396. It's great to be back, guys, and thank you very much for all your support. Have a great weekend, and I will see you on Sunday.
Thanks for listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum. Tune in next time as we dive deeper into things the government doesn't want us to know.